Yo, as always, like, share, subscribe. If you want to drop a donation, feel free. The audio will be on in the top of the messages. Now let's just get into it. So, Michigan will play Indiana 3:30 on ESPN, I believe. And so I'm just going to run over some of Indiana's starters, stats, and then I'm going to get into what the video, what I want to talk about. So Indiana is 7-3. They've lost to OSU, Penn State, and Michigan State. They lost to Penn State last week, 34-27. So just that right there tells you they played Penn State pretty tight. So they always play us tight. So no matter how they play anybody else, we know they're gonna play us tight. So okay, Patrick Ramsey has 1,600 yards passing. He's 72%. He's got 10 TDs, 8.4 yard average, a throw, and 3 picks. So, plus he's got 153 rushing yards. So, he's efficient. 72%. Their leading rusher, Stevie Scott. This dude is big. He's about 230. He's a big boy. He's got 791 yards on the year, 4.8 yards a carry, 9 TDs. Their leading receiver is Whop Philor. Indiana fans, if I say these names wrong, I'm sorry. Whop Philor, 61 receptions, 863 yards, 3 TDs. He's got a 14.1 average. So that lets you know he's catching the ball downfield, or either he's eating up yardage when he catches it. The second leading receiver is Ty Freifogel. 38 receptions, 502 yards, 3 TDs, and he's got a 13.2 average for reception. Then their third leading receiver is the tight end, Peyton Hendershot, 36 receptions, 444 yards, 4 TDs. He's getting 12.3 yards a catch. So what that tells you right there is they're getting big gains when they complete passes. They're not dinking and dunking. So that right there. On defense, the middle linebacker, the leading tackler is Micah McFadden. He's got like 45 total tackles. And Raekwon Jones, he's got like 42, I want to say. So those are the dudes to look out for. But Indiana always plays us tough, y'all. And that's just kind of what it is. They always play us tough, no matter how good of a season we're having or how bad of a year they're having or vice versa. They always play us tough and they always come to play. And we usually play them before OSU, which makes it even harder for us. They're always before OSU. So, of course, we're going to be looking over them a little bit, but it's hard to do that. But it's going to happen because our biggest rival is next week. So it's honestly, they need to start rescheduling that game for a different time. Stop scheduling that game right before the OSU game. But yeah, that's just for them. They're gonna be running the RPO stuff, y'all. They're gonna be running the spread, and that's RPO. That's what our linebackers have to be disciplined and not bite up on the fakes and fall for the fakes. If not, these dudes they gonna get behind you and they gonna eat up some yards real fast. So discipline and eye discipline is the big thing for this game, because not only eye discipline, but the crossing routes. Don Brown, Indiana, they exposed you last year. Well, you had already been exposed, but before the OSU game, they exposed it for real. So you say you ready for it? Time to see. I know you got the brackets and everything. We're gonna see how that works, and we're gonna see if they have counters for the brackets. So you've been telling people about this brackets, Joe Cladd, everybody's talking about it. Now guess what? Good coaches, they see those brackets and see what you're doing. Now they make adjustments for what you're doing. So you're going to have to see what's up with that. We'll see. We'll find out. and which is bad for us because even if Indiana doesn't find a way, OSU probably will really dive into this film and figure out how they can exploit that. That's if they're trying to pass that much. If OSU can run it down our throat, they're gonna do it. But I ain't gonna get into that just yet. But for us, we want to continue what we did for most of the games. If Indiana played a bad team, they kind of destroyed them, and they couldn't really score. But if they played good teams, it was usually a close game. They either lost or it was a close kind of game, kind of a high scoring, 35, 20, 34, 27, 40 to 37, those types of games. Like the game they lost against Michigan State. So those are the type of games that they've been in when it's kind of good team versus good team, or mediocre, above average team. So we want to do the same thing we did last week. Open it up with the speed and space. Shea, continue to play well, man. Gaddis, continue on what you did last week. I gave you props, Gaddis. That was speed and space. Now will Shea continue? Honestly, Harbaugh might be just trying to. He might try to ground and pound again and exploit that. Last week, if we would have tried to just run it on Michigan State, I feel like that game would have been more like last year's game. But instead, we threw it to the edges and exposed Michigan State's weaknesses. Normally, we don't do that. Normally, like this season and even last, Harbaugh would just run the ball regardless. So he might be trying to pick up on actually trying to exploit weaknesses now and let Shea throw it or, run it if it's there. Because he's just going to still try to run it. But last week we know Michigan State's front seven is pretty good. They just stay on the field too long because their offense is so bad. But we know their back end isn't as good. So you want to exploit the edges and exploit them downfield, and that's what they did. So we'll see. Harbaugh might be trying to play a little chess now and actually exploit weaknesses. So let's just hopefully they do that. Because we run kind of a similar offense as Indiana. So they may be prepared a little better than most teams for the spread and all the screens and the misdirection, RPO stuff. They might be prepared for that a little better than most teams since they run it. You should never get manhandled or outdone from a team that does the same thing as you. But Michigan has probably better talent, slightly better talent, but it ain't overwhelmingly better, I don't think. Honestly. Like, Michigan has better talent, but Indiana always plays us tough. So this game will probably come down to the fourth quarter. Hopefully it doesn't. Last year we had a dog fight with them, and it cost us Chase and a couple more other players. I think Uche and we had a bunch of players get injured in this game. And then the next week when we played OSU, we had Chase out there that needed surgery. I don't think Uche even played. I don't think he played at all in that game. He might have, but I think he was coming off an injury too. So those things, they kind of helped OSU. Not like that they needed any, but so this is a game if we want to get out early and get this game over with and get out healthy, because next week is I'm getting nervous just talking about it. Like, I'm getting nervous just talking about this game next week that's coming up, y'all. So this week we want to get this win and take care of business. Be focused and get it done. Get it done early and quick and get the starters out the game so we can go into OSU healthy. This week is about staying focused, executing, and getting those starters out the game. Once the game is out of reach, Harbaugh, you get them dudes out of there. Hopefully we can get out of here and blow them out and get out fast, because the longer the game goes, it makes it even harder for next week. I'm trying not to look ahead, but I got to, because it means so much. So you got to get out of here and get healthy. You don't want to have a dog fight with Indiana where you're fighting to win so much. You're putting so much energy, so much effort into it, and then you got OSU next week. You ain't going to be ready for them. You just not. You're having a dog fight the week before, or even the only way I can see we could be ready for them if it's a close game is if we lose, and then we come out pissed off the next week. Honestly, a close game is going. If we win a close game against Indiana, it's gonna do more harm than good for us next week. Maybe I'm wrong, but that's just how I feel, because it's so much effort and energy that gets put into a close game trying to win it. So just like the Penn State game, we lost that game, but it was a win for us because it made the offense and everybody else wake up. So when you win a game like that and you got a monster next week, it ain't good. It ain't good for you. So we want to take care of business and get out of there early. Ramsey's a good quarterback. I hate playing senior quarterbacks. Even with Don Brown's defense, they've seen it all. They know what to expect. He's played us twice, I believe. I believe he played us twice, Ramsey. And he's just gonna be ready for us. Like this dude he's seen it all. When you're a senior quarterback, you've seen it all. So this dude is efficient and he knows what he's doing. He knows how to run that offense. Now, even if we do contain the passing game or lock down the receivers, you have to watch out for him scrambling and getting first downs and moving the chains with his legs, because he can do that. He did it on us somewhat last year. So we always have to be ready and prepared for that. You may even have to want to spy Cam McGrone on him. But besides that, Stevie Scott's a beast also. Like he's not a dude that you can just solo tackle. You gonna have to make sure your chin strap buckled up tight with dude, because he's a load. He's definitely a load. But Indiana's got talent, y'all. I'm hoping for a blowout somehow so we can get out of there and get out of this game and be ready for OSU with a clear mind. But most of us that follow Michigan close know Indiana seems to always play us tough, and this game is always before OSU almost for the last few years. So it's imperative. It's imperative for us to just this game. I hate that this game is before OSU, y'all. Like I'm really nervous, not for the game, but just because I know it's gonna be close. If it's close, it's gonna carry over into next week. We have to take care of business in this one, y'all. Or if it's close, we might not have a chance next week. Because we're going to put too much energy out. We're going to put too much energy and too much into this game. Hopefully the dudes are focused and they thinking the same thing I'm thinking. They got to focus and take care of business. Get it done. Get it done. Because this might as well be the championship next week. Whatever you want to call it. It's serious. I'm getting nervous and flustered just thinking about next week and what can happen and what might happen. So I'm just hoping they take care of business, y'all, because Indiana is gonna play us tough. But a team like this, you can't give them hope. We gotta come out just like last week. You want to come out fast and just continuously score, and to where they lose hope and they almost quit. You want to get up early and just continue it. Don't give them hope that they can win. Don't give them hope that they can win. And get out of there, man. Get out of there. So I'm looking for all the defense to be disciplined. Shea, no bonehead mistakes today, Shea. On Saturday, Shea. No bonehead mistakes. Get out of there. Do what you got to do and get out of this game, man. No bonehead mistakes. I'm not sure. Harbaugh may try to run the ball just to keep the ball out of their hands. But I'm not sure what they going to do, y'all, because they threw me for a loop. They threw me for a loop last week when they actually did speed and space, because we hadn't seen it all year. So that one confused me. I thought they just kind of we were going back to the Harbaugh ball offense, and then we come out last week with the speed and space. So I'm not sure what they're going to try to come out and execute and have that be the game plan. Yeah, they might try to come out and run it, do Harbaugh ball again and try to play action pass. I don't know. They might come out and do speed and space. Honestly, I'm kind of anxious to see what they actually try to do with this. You know what I mean? I'm kind of anxious to actually see if they're going to come out and try to do speed and space again. Like, we'll see. Honestly, I don't know. Normally, I have a good idea of what they're going to try to do, but after last week, I'm not even going to try to. I'm not going to try to say what, because I don't know. Hopefully, they can run speed and space, because you can run the ball down a team's throat, but you see how it is when you execute the passing game. When you execute the passing game, it's just easier. I'm sure it's not easier. But it just feels easier. Like the game moves. It just feels like you have control of the game when you can pass. Because most of the times you can run it, but if they commit so much to stop the run, then all right, can you pass block good enough? But when you can pass, it opens so much up, because then they have to put defenders back and they can't just focus in on the run. But last week we probably had 100 yards rushing, but Shea had almost 400 yards passing. What did he have? 345? So that's just a big difference, y'all. When a team expects you to come out and pound it, and then you're throwing it everywhere, sideline, deep every once in a while, across the middle. So I'd love to see that, because especially for us, it surprises teams, because they expect us to just run it all game, run it 65% of the time. And then we came out last week and we threw it 65% of the time. It'll throw a team for a loop. So I know OSU will probably be watching to see, like, okay, they came out in speed and space. Michigan State, I haven't seen that. Let me see what they're going to do against Indiana. I'm sure they kind of wondering themselves, because I wasn't expecting that, y'all. But that's all I got for this one, y'all. I'm hoping for a blowout and an easy win, but I'm sure not expecting it. I'm just hoping it so we can get to OSU healthy and give them our best shot. Because if we end up winning a close game and all that energy fighting to win it and all that, it ain't gonna be good, y'all. I promise you, it ain't gonna be good. But That's all I got for the Indiana-Michigan game. I wanted to talk about real quick. I know I've been on here for a minute, but the doggone Michigan State, like, y'all so worried about Michigan State. We beat them. They not good, y'all. They like a lot of people worried about Michigan State and stuff, and they not good. So this is my thing about everything. OSU is everything right now. Whether you want to win the Big Ten, you want to go to the playoff, whatever your season, if you got national championship aspirations, all that, it goes through OSU. You build your team to beat OSU. You shouldn't be building your team to beat Michigan State or none of that. You build them to beat OSU. If you can beat OSU, you can beat Michigan State, you can beat Penn State, you can beat Iowa, you can beat Minnesota, you can beat every other team in the Big Ten. If you can beat OSU, everything else will fall into place. Michigan State, they falling back where they supposed to be, below us. We knew that was going to come. Ain't nobody worried about Michigan State like that. Worry about OSU. Worry about them. Penn State, all these teams, OSU. And I hope Harbaugh needs to be thinking this way, and Don Brown. None of these other teams we play matter. You build your team to beat Ohio State. Just like in the NFL. If somebody in your conference is the Super Bowl champ or just went to the Super Bowl, they dominating, you build your team to beat them. You don't build the team to just be successful against Penn State and Michigan State and Wisconsin and no. You build your team to beat the champ of the conference. That's OSU. We're worrying about OSU. That's the only team we need to be worried about, because if you can beat them, you can beat everybody else. If you can't beat OSU, you're going to struggle sometimes with Penn State. You're going to struggle with Wisconsin. So you got to beat them. That's who you build the team and you're trying to catch up with. We're trying to catch up with Michigan State. You see, it wasn't hard to pass them because they on the decline. When was the last time OSU was on the decline? I'll wait. That one year when they fired Tressel, then they got right back to business. That's who we got to worry about, y'all. People want to heckle Michigan State. Michigan State is bad. They're not a good team. I don't see why y'all focus on that. I guess you got to get your chuckles in the way however you can. I mean, it's cool, but they're not where we want to be. They've been to where we want to be. They've been there. They done had 2-3 bad years. But they've been to where we want to be. But they coming back down to earth. So I ain't worried about Michigan State. We should have beat them in Harbaugh first year with the block punt or whatever that happened. I'm worried about OSU, the team we don't beat. Worried about no Michigan State. We beat them. We beat them last year. All right. OSU, that's you take care of them. You get your team ready, and I'm gonna make another video probably tomorrow. I'm not finna keep talking on this one, but I want to talk about the Big Ten and everything like that. But that's what it is, y'all. You got to focus on OSU. OSU is everything, y'all. And to get where we want to be, it's going to go through them. They're not going to have a bad year. They not. They got too much talent, y'all. They got too much. They stockpiling it like Alabama almost. They're not going to have a bad year. A bad year is what we having right now for them. 2 losses, probably 3, could be 4. So, where we at right now is a bad year for them. But I ain't finna get into it right now. I'm trying not to get into it, but it's coming up. It's coming. I'm nervous and I'm hyped like I'm finna go getting ready to play the game in 2 weeks. But let me get off of here. As always, like, share, subscribe. If you want to drop a donation, feel free. The link's in the bio. The audio will be on Anchor in the messages. As always, go blue.